is there. So this frequency, let's say we will consider like this 100 pi t. Okay, instead of this we will be considering as 100 pi t, so that your frequency will be 50. Okay, 2 pi f is equal to 100 pi, so your f is equal to 50. So that I have written. So now suppose if you are having this signal, it is having one DC signal and one AC signal. So this DC signal frequency is 0. This is your signal. You are giving the DC, you are giving the signal, that is V here. Suppose if you want to analyze the signal, and if you want to analyze only the DC component which is available here. Okay, if you want to analyze only the DC component, so you want to remove the AC component. So now what you can do is you can use a high pass filter, sorry, a low pass filter, which will allow only the low frequency signals and it will remove all the high frequency signals. Here the frequency is 50 hertz. If I design the low pass filter in such a way that to remove all the high frequency signals which is more than 10 hertz, if I if I design such a filter, then I will be getting only 10 here, that is the DC signal only I will be getting. I will be giving 10 plus 5 sine 100 pi t on the input side. If I use a low pass filter, I will be getting only low frequency signal on the output side. This is input and this is output. Then I will be getting only the DC signal, which is this. Okay, so now this is for low pass filter. Similarly, if I want only the sinusoidal signal and if I want to remove the lower frequency signal, this is a higher frequency signal, this frequency is 50 hertz. Okay, this is a signal which is of 0 hertz. So if I want only the sinusoidal signal and if I want to remove the low frequency signal, that is 10 here, that is the DC component is 10, then I can use a high pass filter. That high pass filter will allow high frequency signal. I can give the input here, that is V, and I can take the output here. Here I will be getting 5 sine 100 pi t. Okay, so this input is 10 plus 5 sine 100 pi t. So here you are designing a high pass filter which will remove all the frequency signals which is less than 10 hertz. So if you are designing a high pass filter which will remove the frequency signal which is less than 10, so this is having a frequency of 0, so that will be removed by the high pass filter, so you will be getting this. So why you need this? See, in any electronic devices, that electronic device will be operating at very high frequency signals. Okay, so there may be a possibility where when you are generating such high frequency signal and you want to transmit, you are having a signal, you are transmitting it for longer distance, then you are receiving the signal at another end. Okay, sending in and receiving in. So when you have to generate the signal from this end to that end, so you are using high frequency wave to transmit that signal from this end to that end. So when you are generating a high frequency signal and you are transmitting it and you are receiving it here, so when you are transmitting and receiving it, you may be having unnecessary frequency signals additional unnecessary frequency signals which may come along with your essential signal. So you want to remove unnecessary signals. So in order to remove unnecessary signals, you can use filters. So if you want DC signal, then you can put a high pass filter, so a low pass filter, so that it will remove all the high frequency signal and it will allow only the low frequency signal. In the another case, you can apply high pass filter if you want only high frequency signal and remove the low frequency signal. There are other type of filters. So basically RL circuit, RC circuit, both can be used as a simple low pass filter and high pass filter individually. Okay, individually they can use both as high pass filter as well as low pass filter. Then there is one more thing, that is RLC component. That RLC component can be used as band pass and band stop filter. Okay, band pass and band stop filter. You may be heard of this. Of course, you would have studied in your electronics subject somewhere. So if you are having omega here and if you are having an amplitude, so band pass means it will allow signal in one particular bandwidth. So you are having lower frequency signal and higher frequency signal. So within this range only, if you are getting a signal and if its frequency is within this range, then your output will be given within this range. Your input may be having wide range of frequency signal, whereas your output will be containing only the signals which is between omega 1 and omega 2. So this is band pass. Similarly, the other signal is there, that is band stop, where you can use, where you don't allow certain frequency signals. So you can consider the same case. It will allow signals within in this range and with this which are in this range. So here in this range, within this range, that is, let's say you consider it as omega 1 and omega 2. In the previous case, whatever the signals which is existing between this omega 1 and omega 2, that allowed, that is band pass, one particular band it permitted. Here it is going to behave like a band stop. It will not allow within this band whatever the signals which is coming within this band, it will not allow. So that can be obtained by RLC circuits. So other than this, this is based on electronics. For electrical, this RL, RC are playing a wide role in designing and developing any power system, machines, or whatever the electrical components are there, everything can be represented by RL and RC. So mainly with R, RC and RLC, any electrical equipment can be modeled by this RL and C. Okay, so let us proceed. We have seen what is RL, what is RC, how to analyze RL and RC. The third part is RLC circuits, that also we have seen. But there is one main application of RLC circuits, that is called as resonance circuit. Okay, just a minute. Yeah. So my, PDF is visible to you, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the final topic in this particular unit is resonance. So the resonance is a steady state operation. Already we have discussed what is a steady state operation. We have seen some waveform like this. If your steady state value is this, what is the final value of that circuit is called as steady state circuit. For example, if you are considering a source, DC source we'll consider, then you are having a R circuit and R and L element. So if it is a 10 volt and this is 1 ohm, you forget about this L value. So the current flowing through this circuit in the steady state operation means you turned on the circuit, then you are seeing it after some 10 minutes, then what will be the current flowing through that is 10 ampere. Okay, why? Because di by dt is not there if this system is on for long time, because di dt plays a role only if there is a AC signal. So if it is a DC signal, there is no rate of change of current. If there is no rate of change of current, there is no voltage across it. If there is no voltage across it, there is no voltage drop across that. So this will be behaving like a short circuit during a steady state operation. So the current flowing through the circuit will be 10 ampere. This will be 10 ampere. This will be a final steady state, but initially it will be taking certain time to reach its final steady state. So this is called as transient condition. Okay, so this resonance is all about this steady state condition. We are going to read about steady state condition. The resonance will occur only in steady state operation. We are not talking about this thing, transient operation. Okay, so the resonance is a condition which can operate in steady state operation in a circuit. So for any resonant condition to be occurred, we need two things, that is two storage element. We need minimum, we need two different storage elements. Okay, you should be having two storage element, that is two different storage element. It can be of electrical or whatever, or electrical or mechanical or whatever, but for resonant condition to occur, you should be having minimum two storage elements. Okay, here we are going to talk in terms of frequency, but this is in electrical. So in electrical, there are two storage elements which we are aware as of now. One is the inductor and another one is the capacitor. Okay, these are two energy storage. In mechanical perspective, you would have seen something like this. I don't know whether you are aware of this or not. And you'll be having spring, and I think this is dashboard. I forgot the name. So this will be connected in parallel. So this is behaving like one energy storage, and this will behave like another energy storage. This is for the mechanical thing. So similarly, in electrical thing, you are having two energy storage. One is this inductor and another one is the capacitor. So the point to be noted here is, for a resonant condition to occur, you need minimum two energy storage element. That is the first case. And the second case is both should be different storage elements. Means, yeah, energy storage can occur when you are having two different storage elements in the circuit like this. Whereas if you are having two energy storage, let's say that you are having a energy storage, this is an energy storage element, then you are having another energy storage element like this, then the here two storage elements are there. This is one inductor, this is another inductor. So here you are having two energy storage, but here resonance will not occur. Okay, why? Because in resonant condition there should be energy transfer between two energy storage devices. During resonant condition there will be a energy transfer between these two energy storage devices. So here this both will be behaving like a single energy storage. These two cannot transfer energy between these two at different operating conditions. Okay, that we'll see what it is, but as of now you just understand that you need two different energy storage elements in order to occur, in order for the resonance to occur. Okay, so that is what I have given here. If you are having an RL circuit, the resonance cannot happen. If you are having an RC circuit, the resonance cannot happen. So the resonance can happen only when two energy storage elements are available. One is inductor and another one is capacitor. I repeat, both should be different storage elements. So I have mentioned two types of independent energy storage elements capable of interchanging energy between one and another. So means that is what independent energy storage I mentioned about inductor and capacitor. Okay, so the resonance can occur in many places, many subjects. So here we are talking about electrical, but it can also happen in mechanical or hydraulic. But there also two energy storage elements are required. Okay, so here in electrical we are going to talk L and C. Both are behaving based on the frequency. Okay, the L value and C value are constant. You understand, for any circuit, the L value and C value are constant. The only variable between these two is when you are talking in AC circuits, you are having XL and XC. So XL is nothing but omega L, XC is nothing but 1 by omega C. So here you are having another parameter, that is omega, that is variable part, where L and C are fixed. Okay, so before going to that, why do we need to read about it and what are the applications of it, that we will see. Okay, so after this we will come back here. So this resonance is having a lot of applications. Okay, so some applications we are very much familiar. One is induction heating. You would have using induction heater in your home, right? So that is based on some oscillatory circuit, that is based on inductor and capacitor. So this is based on induction heating, this is based on RLC circuit, or based on, here you can call it as resonant condition. So this is also, you might be well aware, amplifier or of radio frequency amplifiers. This also you might be aware, uh, even though you not have studied is this directly, but this is completely used in electronics. Then this thing, of course, you would be aware, because in your home you are using TV. In that you are having different channels are broadcasted at different frequency. So uh, so in your home, when you are changing the channels, you might be seeing the frequency as 998.1 megahertz, something like that. I'm not knowing the value exactly, but it is more than 100 megahertz. So different channels will be having different frequency. Okay, so if you are tuning to 120, let's say that you are watching Star Sports, you are watching 10 sports. So the 10 sports may be broadcasted at 1 or 2 megahertz, and the Star Sports can be broadcasted at 100 megahertz. So when you are tuning your system or tuning your TV to 1 or 2 megahertz, you can be able to see 10 sports. When you are tuning this, when you are tuning your TV for 100 megahertz, that can use Star Sports. So what is happening here is, basically we are using some kind of resonant condition. So let's say I'm having a RLC circuit. This RLC circuit will be behaving like a filter. Okay, so if I tune this LNC for 100 hertz, if I want to oscillate this both the things for 100 hertz, what it will do is, I'm having a circuit of series RLC. I am tuning this for this inductor and capacitor will oscillate at 100 hertz, means that it will be behaving in resonant condition. Resonant condition means your XL will be equal to XC, both will get cancelled out each other. Because of that, if you apply a signal here, that will be completely flowing through this circuit. We have seen in the phasor diagram, your voltage across the source will be directly equal to the voltage across the resistor when the system is at this condition, XL is equal to XC. So at that time, you will be getting the least impedance for the series circuit, because this one and this one will get cancelled out. If this one and this one will get cancelled out, your Z is given by root of R square plus omega L minus omega 1 by omega C the whole square. These two terms get cancelled. Then it's obvious that if you're having this value, your impedance would have been increased. Now when these two get cancelled out, this impedance is reduced because your Z becomes R here. Then this is behaving like a least resistance path. So the point is, if you are tuning this for 100 hertz, it will permit only the 100 hertz signal. That time it will be, these two will be offering least impedance. If it is a least impedance, that particular signal can be passing through this particular path. Okay, so suppose if you are having 150 hertz, then what happens is, you will be having some finite value for this. So because of that, the complete signal cannot be transferred from the source to this side. This is the application. This is for tuning you can call. Okay, tuning of particular frequency, you can tune it based on this series RLC circuits. So similarly, you can use radio signals. Radio, in radio you will be having tuning part. You know that 99.8 megahertz one channel will be there, then 99.1 one channel will be there. So this is based on this tuning. Your radio is, if you are fixing to 99.1, your radio will be tuned to this frequency. It will allow whatever the signal is there at that particular frequency, that only it will allow. Okay, so this is also based on RLC circuits only. Okay, so guitar, that is also having this resonant condition, pendulum. So these things, it's not required for us, but this thing you can see, a glass, it is a wine glass that can be broken if you can have a frequency which is nearer to the natural frequency. Each are having its own frequency. If you are making something in such a way that that is matching the natural frequency, then you can able to break the glass. So one more thing, this is a bridge. What happened is, because of the resonant condition, this complete bridge has been broken. If you are not aware with the resonant condition, what happens is, and if you are designing a system without understanding what is resonance and the effects of resonance, then what happens is, that will have an energy that will be able to collapse the complete bridge. Okay, so we are not going much detail into that. You can see, I think it will be visible to you. So the bridge can be oscillating like this due to wind, but at resonant condition there is a possibility for it complete collapse. So when that resonant condition has occurred, then this kind of bridge will be completely collapsed. One such condition only I have shown it here. When it obtained its resonant frequency, this bridge has completely collapsed. So this is resonance is having a wide application in all domain, irrespective of electrical, electronics, mechanical, and all. So learning this resonant condition, it would be very much useful, and it would be very much interesting also. So even though we are going in terms of equations, the what is happening in the resonant condition, that we can see it here. Okay, so let me proceed with this. So consider a series RLC circuit which is given in this figure. So where you are having a source and R, inductor, capacitor, all three elements are here. Okay, so these three elements are connected in series. The current flowing through this path is I. So the I can be given by this equation. You know that if you apply KVL for this equation, you will be getting V is equal to I into the remaining part. So this remaining part is this, and this V is here. So you just bring it to the other side, you will be getting I is equal to V divided by this part. This is impedance. So here it is a phasor because we are dealing with AC circuits, so we are mentioning it as phasor. So this V is the phasor, and this is an impedance that is also a phasor. So now this, what will be the value of I if I change the frequency from 0 to some maximum value? Okay. So now if this omega is 0, if this omega is 0, then what happens, you see, this complete term will become infinite, because if omega is 0, this is 0, but here 1 by 0 is there, then this part will become infinite, right? So because of that, the current flowing through the circuit, so this will become like an infinite, this will become 0, you are having R here. So V divided by infinite, the current will be 0. Okay. So if I plot it at omega is equal to 0, I will be getting 0 as current. So now I'm increasing this omega. Then if I'm increasing this omega, I will be getting a value. First we will check the extreme conditions. Okay. So extreme condition is first omega is equal to 0, and the second extreme condition is omega is equal to infinite. If omega is equal to infinite, you put it here, this will become infinite and this will become 0. Okay. So when this is become 0, so this is infinite and this is 0 and this is still R. So here again, this complete part will become infinite. If this complete part is infinite, again the current flowing through that will be 0. Here, this is at omega is equal to infinite. What is this? What we are plotting? We are plotting the current. Now, there is one more condition where omega L is equal to omega C, 1 by omega C. So that time you take omega to one side and a remaining term to other side. So omega square is equal to 1 by root LC. Omega square is equal to 1 by LC and omega is equal to 1 by root LC. So if you keep omega is equal to 1 by root LC, then what happens is these two terms will get cancelled out. If these two terms get cancelled out, this is some XL value and this is some XC value. Both are opposite, so both will get cancelled out. You will be getting a certain circuit like this. So in that time, the impedance offered by this inductor, the impedance offered by this capacitor, it's becoming negligible because it is becoming, both are getting cancelled out each other. So at that time, we are having only one resistance, that is R, which is available in the circuit. So the current can be given by V divided by R. So now we are getting the least impedance of that. So at that time, we will be having the maximum current. So whatever the current, we will be getting the maximum current at this point. So this is omega is equal to 1 by root LC. So if you change the frequency in between, you will be getting a waveform like this. Okay. So at the same time, if you plot the impedance with respect to frequency, the impedance would be coming like this. Just a minute. Okay. The impedance will be coming like this. So initially the impedance will be at infinite. Here also it is approaching the infinite. So this will be the least infinite offered by that path, that is Z. So here it is nothing but R value. Z is equal to R. So remaining all other time you are getting Z is equal to root of R square plus omega L minus omega C the whole square. So now the point is, during a resonant condition, you are offering a least resistance path because.
So can you repeat the part after omega will become infinity, because in between your voice was breaking.
Okay, just a minute. Okay. What I was telling is we are taking three extreme conditions for omega. Okay. So the first condition is omega is equal to infinite. The first condition is omega is equal to 0, and the second condition is omega is equal to infinite. Okay. Okay, fine. So I plot it again here. So at omega is equal to 0, my current equation is given by I is equal to V divided by R plus J omega XL minus XE. So at this time, what is happening is, if omega is equal to 0, if I put omega is equal to 0, so this term will become infinite. If this term becomes infinite, the complete term will become infinite. Okay, because you are getting j omega L minus infinite. So if you are subtracting something with infinite, again it is infinite. So what you are getting, I is equal to V divided by some infinite. So your I will be 0. So that time, if I plot it with respect to omega, this is omega axis, that is omega axis. Here I, this is I axis. So here at omega is equal to 0, I am getting current as 0. Then the second condition I am checking, omega is equal to infinite. If I put omega is equal to infinite, this omega term is becoming infinite, whereas if I substitute omega is equal to infinite in this term, this is becoming 0. So again, you are having infinite in the denominator. So again, the current will become 0. That is occurring at this point. Omega is equal to infinite. Okay. So now there is one in between point where omega L is equal to omega C. So for this condition, omega L is equal to omega C. Omega L is equal to 1 by omega C. So at this condition, I am rearranging this equation. So I am taking this omega to this and L to here. So I will be getting omega square is equal to 1 by 1 by LC. 1 by LC I am getting. Then this is omega square. Then omega is equal to 1 by root of LC. Okay, so this is not root. So omega is equal to 1 by root LC. So if I fix omega is equal to 1 by root LC, then what happens is, in this denominator term, this will get cancelled out because we are taking from omega L is equal to omega 1 by omega C. Because of that, this 2 will get cancelled out. So once this get cancelled out, what happens is you are getting only the value of resistance R. So I is given by V divided by R. Okay, so at that time you are getting some current. Okay, so that is the maximum current which can be offered by the circuit. Okay, that is the maximum current that can be flowing through the circuit. Why? Because in the other conditions, when you are having frequency, this also will come into the picture. Means Z is equal to root of R square plus omega L minus 1 by omega C the whole square. So just a minute. Yeah, omega C the whole square. So at resonant condition, when omega L is equal to omega R, 1 by omega L is equal to 1 by omega C, this term getting cancelled out, then you will be getting Z is equal to R. So for all other value, this complete Z will be greater than this value. Only at resonant condition, you are getting Z is equal to R. All other component, you will be getting R plus J something. So because of that, your overall impedance will be increased. So your overall impedance will be higher for non-resonant condition. At resonant condition, you will be getting the least resistance, that is Z is equal to R. So if it is getting the least resistance, obviously the current flowing through that will be higher. That's why I have plotted the current. This is the current. So the maximum current which can occur, that is at resonant condition. So at that time, the frequency can be 1 by root LC. Okay, now this is for the current, and the impedance will be like, it will be starting from infinite and it will be moving towards Z. Okay, this is Z. The Z is R. Z is equal to R at this condition. So at this Z is equal to R, you are getting the maximum current. So when it becomes infinite, you will be getting when Z is equal to infinite, the current will be 0. When here, sorry, when omega is equal to infinite, your current is 0. Here the omega is equal to infinite, that time also your current is 0. In between, you are getting the peak current and the least resistance value. So this is the resonant condition. At that resonant condition, your current is maximum and the impedance is least. This is for series RLC circuit. Okay, so why we are talking about this is, if you are designing some system, and if you are designing, if you are fixing omega is equal to 1 by root LC, then 1 by root LC, if you are deciding some frequency based on this, if you keep this omega value as 99.1 megahertz, if you are choosing some channel based on this, then at this frequency you will be getting the signals which is available only for that particular bandwidth or particular frequency. Here it is a frequency, you can consider it as a at that particular frequency. So at that time what happens is, if this is the maximum current which is available for that particular channel, that time it will be allowed for that particular channel only. This is based on 1 by root LC. So this is the frequency of your channel, this is the strength of your channel. Even though we are talking in terms of current, you will be getting maximum strength of that particular channel signal only at that particular channel frequency. So if you choose 99.6 megahertz, then let's say you are having star sports at 99.1 megahertz, then at 99.1 megahertz you will be getting the maximum star sports signal strength. Okay, whereas if you are moving to 99.6 megahertz, it will be moving towards this side, then the strength of the signal is reducing. Okay, so only if you fix it at that particular channel frequency, you will be getting the maximum strength. That is why in your home, if you tune your TV at 99.1 hertz megahertz, you will be getting clear signal, very clear signal, if you are having a channel which is designed for 99.1 megahertz. If you are going to 99.15 megahertz, your channel strength will looking like a distorting one. You may not get a clear picture, or you cannot get the clear videos. It is happening because the signal strength is reducing when you are going in any of the other frequency side. Only at that particular frequency you are getting maximum strength. Other than that particular frequency, you are getting reduced signal strength for the particular channel. So this will occur only at the resonant condition. We are tuning the channels based on resonant condition. Is it clear? Did you understand anything?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So fine, even if you don't understand, it is very difficult. So let us proceed. So whatever I had explained it before, that I have plotted it here. So we have seen already in phasor diagram. So for series RLC circuit, we will be taking current as reference because the current is changing. Just a minute. The current is changing. So the current is constant for the circuit and the voltage is changing. At resonant condition, this will be VL actually, and this will be VC, and your VR will be in phase with the current, so it will be like this. So at resonant condition, your VL will be equal to VC, both will get cancelled out each other. Then you will be getting only voltage across the resistor that will be in phase with the current. Okay, so the point to be noted here is, at resonant condition, the circuit will be offering least resistance for series RC circuit. So if it is having the least resistance, it will be having the maximum current. So if you are talking in terms of signal strength, whichever the signal is designed for that particular resonant frequency, that particular signal frequency will be having the maximum strength at resonant condition. If it is in terms of current, the current will be maximum at resonant condition for series RLC circuit. Okay, so then you can find I by using V phasor divided by Z phasor. V phasor divided by Z phasor, where Z is nothing but R. Here you do not have the imaginary term, you can write it as directly V divided by R. So since it is a resistive circuit, the voltage and current will be in phase. Okay, so now if you see the impedance, how the impedance changes with respect to the frequency, that we can see. Okay, So you can see this figure in the top figure, how omega changes and how we can discuss the how the impedance changes based on this. So this is the reference. This is the reference. So you can consider this as a resonant condition. Omega is equal to omega resonant. So what is the frequency at that resonant condition is called as omega resonant. Okay. So initially you are starting from minus infinite. If you are starting from minus infinite, oh sorry, here it is mentioned as minus infinite, but do you need to go for it? Okay. So we'll start with 0. Okay, it's better we start with 0. Just a minute. Okay, it is start with 0. Omega is equal to 0. We are starting at omega is equal to 0. Your z is nothing but r plus j omega l minus 1 by omega c. So now we are starting with omega. Omega is equal to 0. So at omega is equal to 0, we are taking two terms. One is omega l and omega c. When omega l, for this condition, your omega l is lesser than 1 by omega c. Okay, because omega l is equal to 0, this term will become 0, this term will become infinite. So at this time, this circuit will be behaving like a capacitive circuit because your 1 by omega c term is higher. So you know that. So if you are taking this is as voltage, if you are taking this as a voltage, so, sorry, you take this as current. If you are taking this as current, then your voltage across the capacitor will be in lagging. So this is coming here. So if you multiply with I, you will be getting V here. So that V will be lagging the voltage by some angle. This is for capacitive circuit, right? So now if you are changing from omega is equal to 0 to omega is equal to infinite, so you are changing from 0 to infinite, then what happens is this omega L value will be changing from 0 to some positive value, and this 1 by omega c will be coming from infinite to some finite value. So this omega L will be increasing, and this 1 by omega c will be decreasing from infinite to 0. This will be decreasing from infinite to 0, and this will be increasing from 0 to infinite. So if you are changing the omega from 0 to infinite, in between there will be one value where you will be getting omega L is equal to 1 by omega c. So that frequency is called as the resonant frequency. That time you will be getting V and I which are in phase. Okay, if you are plotting only for Z, if you are plotting only for Z, your R will be in phase with the, your resultant Z will be in phase with R. Okay, so if it is a capacitive circuit, let's say you are having Z is equal to this one. If you are having Z is equal to Z, this one, if it is a capacitive circuit, you are, just a minute, let me draw. Okay, if you are having a capacitive circuit, this is your R term. If you are plotting Z in this denominator, okay, we put it like this. So this is your Z. Okay, this is your Z. So your omega 1 by omega j omega c will be coming here. So this is having some angle. So this have to move in the anti-clockwise direction. Your R is the reference. Your R is the reference. Then plus j omega, it will be going here. This is plus j omega, and this is minus j omega. Okay. So this is minus j omega. So during this lesser frequency, it will be acting like a capacitive circuit. So you will be getting the resultant Z in the fourth quadrant, you can call. Okay, then if you are moving this omega from 0 to infinite, this Z value, this is the Z value at omega is equal to 0. So if you are moving the frequency from omega is equal to 0 to omega is equal to infinite, this resultant will be taking this locus and it will be coming to this point. Okay, so when omega is equal to infinite, this locus would have reached here. Okay, so here the in series RLC circuit, when omega is moving from 0 to infinite, then the circuit is moving from capacitive circuit to resistive circuit. Okay, So I think it got stuck. Let me explain it. Just a minute. So it is nothing. It is one simple equation. Z is equal to R plus omega L j omega L minus 1 by omega C. So now I just wanted to plot the Z. I just need to plot the Z. Z is having two things. One is real component and another one is reactive component. So that I have plotted it here. This is the R axis, that is the real axis. This is the omega axis, that is imaginary. Those two things I have plotted. Then what I am doing is I am choosing the value of omega as 0 at the initial condition, and I am moving this omega is equal to 0 to infinite. Okay, so if I am moving the omega from 0 to infinite, what are the different conditions can occur that we are going to see. So at omega is equal to 0, as I had discussed before, if you substitute omega is equal to 0, here you will be getting xl as 0 and xc as infinite. So in this case, you can see that xl is lesser than xc. So here xc component is more. If xc component is more, then whether my screen is visible to you?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
here xc is higher magnitude. If xc is higher magnitude, you can say that in this series RLC circuit, it will be behaving like a capacitive circuit. Okay, so I am changing this omega from 0 to infinite. At omega is equal to infinite, what will happen is your xl will become infinite because it is having the omega L term. So omega is infinite, so xl will be infinite. So your xc is 1 by omega c. If you put infinite here, so you will be getting the 0 value. So at this condition, it will be having omega L is greater than 0. Okay, so if you are moving from omega is equal to 0 to infinite, in between there is one value. At that value, you will be getting xl is equal to xc. The frequency where you are getting xl is equal to xc is called as resonant frequency. So if you are plotting this omega is equal to 0 to infinite, and if you are seeing what is the change in z for that omega value, initially you will be getting resultant z in this fourth quadrant, because here it will be behaving like a capacitive circuit. You know that in capacitive circuit, the overall impedance will be having certain angle. That angle will be lagging with respect to the real component. Okay, we have seen in phasor diagram of RC circuit where the current leads the voltage. So current leads the voltage. So if you consider Z like a voltage here and R like a or like a current, then it is very much easily understood that the voltage is lagging the current by certain angle. Okay, so this R is the real component and Z is the overall component. So the overall component will be in the fourth quadrant when omega is equal to 0. Okay, so now what we are doing, we are changing the omega from 0 to infinite. This is the 0 value and this is the infinite value. When you are changing from 0 to infinite in this fashion, this particular vector is going to move from this end to this end, and it will be coming to this final position. Okay, so here it will be more inductive. We have already seen your circuit will be behaving like a more inductive part, so your voltage will be leading the current at that time. Okay, so here it will be a positive angle. Here it will be a positive angle. Even if you write it as in the impedance manner, impedance, the magnitude is root of r square plus omega L minus 1 by omega c the whole square. This is the magnitude. Where the angle can be given by tan inverse of omega L minus 1 by omega c. Okay, so we considered omega is equal to divided by r. So omega is equal to 0. At omega is equal to 0, we saw that this is the higher magnitude. So you will be getting minus tan inverse. Okay, sorry, we have to. Okay, I'm saying in the another way actually. I'm wrong in this. Actually, it should be plus tan inverse because you are getting negative value here. So sorry, negative only. So minus tan inverse. So here you are getting value as minus theta. Okay. So minus theta means we have to move in the clockwise direction, that is in this fashion. So here the omega L is less than 1 by omega C. Okay. So if you see that when omega L is greater than 1 by omega C, that time your theta will be positive. So the theta will be moving in the anti-clockwise direction, which is given here. Okay. So same thing I have drawn here. When it is moving from omega 1 is equal to 0 to omega is equal to infinite, at that time how this z is changing, that we have drawn the locus of the z. Okay. So at resonant condition, that is omega is equal to omega resonant frequency, you are getting z which is equal to r, that is given by this particular phasor. Okay. So if you plot xl, if you plot xc, if you are for changing the frequency from 0 to infinite, this is the plot. This dotted line gives the omega L value, and this is giving the value of xc, and this part, this change is the value of impedance. This is the overall impedance. So your R will be here at the resonant condition. So this is just about how the Z changes with respect to the frequency. Only one point to be noted here is, so if you plot the waveform, so here like this, from omega is equal to omega, this is omega and this is current, this is the resonant frequency. In this part, the circuit will be behaving like a capacitive circuit. After this part, it will be behaving like an inductive circuit. Okay, so that is what I wanted to say from this circuit. So here you can see here that if the frequency is more than resonant frequency, this will be behaving like an inductive circuit because your ZL will be here. Okay, so that's what I wanted to see. So before resonant frequency in series RLC circuit, the complete circuit behaving like a capacitive circuit. After resonant frequency, it is behaving like an inductive circuit. How the omega changes, how the XL changes, how the XC changes, that everything we have plotted here. Okay, this is just for your reference, just for your understanding. Okay, so if you have any doubt in this, you ask, else we will proceed further. Okay, the most important term is bandwidth in a resonant condition. Okay, so in this, a bandwidth means a range of frequency where you are having an upper limit and where you are having a lower limit. Okay, so I told that you are going to operate certain channel based on 99.1 megahertz, but this 99 megahertz channel, it will not exactly work at I mean, it will be having strength for certain range. Okay, so this channel may be working from 99.2 megahertz to 99.0 megahertz to 99.2 megahertz. So this is the range. So in this range, it will operate at maximum signal strength. After that range, it will not be having complete strength. But at 99.1 hertz, you will be getting the maximum strength that will be crystal clear. Okay, so now how to choose this bandwidth? So for any signal, how we have to decide the bandwidth, that we have to see. Okay, so now we have to choose two things. One is half power. Okay, so half power in the sense, we told that at resonant condition we are getting the maximum current. If at the resonant condition, if you are getting the maximum current, then that time only we will be able to get the maximum power dissipated, because the power dissipation is given by I square R. So at a resonant condition we are getting the maximum current, so that time you will be getting the maximum power because power is given by I square R. So if you plot this waveform. Here we have plotted two waveforms. One is omega naught divided by omega naught into L divided by R is equal to 1 by 2, and another one is omega naught divided by L. Just a minute. Omega naught divided by L, omega naught into L divided by R is equal to 10. Okay. So what is this? That we will see, because that need another explanation. So we will be explaining it here. Just a minute. Yeah. So this is omega naught L divided by R. This is called as quality factor. This is called as quality factor. This quality factor defines the sharpness of the signal. Okay, if the sharpness is very less, then you will be having more accurate signal at that particular. So you are having a consider a signal like this. So in this signal, the sharpness is less when comparing to this signal. Okay, consider that I am having another signal. So sharpness means within this range only you will be getting the maximum strength. But for this signal, if this is second signal, for this signal you will be getting maximum strength in this bandwidth. Okay, if you are allocating more bandwidth for one particular signal, then it will become very difficult to allot bandwidth for other signals. Bandwidth means a range of frequency. Within that range of frequency, each signal will be having higher strength. Okay, so in order to provide that, we are going to talk about omega L divided by R. This is called as quality factor. This quality factor is defining the sharpness of the signal. Okay, so how much sharp it is having the more quality. Okay, so how we have based on this sharpness, we are going to define there is a range between these signals. So how we are going to decide that range, that is based on half power frequency that we will be discussing in this part again. So here I told about omega L divided by R. Omega L divided by R is giving the quality factor. So this is for the quality factor of 1 by 2. This is for the quality factor of
Excuse me,
10.
sir.
Yeah. We have
Actually, we had class. Sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, you can leave. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes.